Yo, what is up, Crocs and clan members, Pokemon fans, and others who have stumbled upon this video? I'm SoresanCrockxen, and today we're doing an Pokemon X and Y Episode 6 review for you guys. Now, before we get started, I do want to remind you that that I am doing a walkthrough currently on this channel. I'll leave a link to the playlist down in the description box so you guys can check that out. I mean, I would really appreciate you guys checking out and leaving your support, all that cool and stuff and shenanigans. But anyways, so let's get started with this review. Um, so episode 6 is basically the Ash versus Viola rematch episode, but it was done cool. It wasn't your stereotypical rematch. Yo, that'd be lame. We're not doing that. But we start off again. We start off with the cliffhanger that we were giving in the previous episode, which I hope that they do this a lot. Like I really do. They've been doing it consistently. I mean, it's somewhat in there, you know. They need to do that. They need to continue to do that because cliffhangers are what define an anime. Literally, like they make you want to watch the next episode like right now, and you don't want to wait the whole week. So I like that they're doing the cliffhanger thing. So it was the whole Serena asking Ash if he remembers her. Fortunately, he doesn't, and she goes off to explain that it was at camp in Kanto with Professor Oak and all this stuff. And while Ash does remember camp, he doesn't necessarily. I mean, he doesn't really remember her. Um, so that's a thing, right? Um, but she's like, you know, she's a little bummed out, but she starts to explain to Ash that he needs to continue on. He can't give up because that's the kind of person he is. And then, because as we remember, that Ash was really bummed out because he couldn't find a way to counter Gus. And then he's like, "Oh, you're right." And then like I never give up. And then he has this most awkward laugh. And I don't mean it as in the sense that the situation didn't call for it, but I mean like the literally the laugh was just awkward. But that's a topic for another time. You know, we're not talking about laughter and stuff like that. We're gonna do that. That might be something for a future video or whatever. But anyway, so Ash gets up, all motivated now and ready to go, and she's training with Alexa, and the Gus thing. And before we actually continue, I just want to state something that I thought was weird. Um, Noivern for some scenes, like just some particular frames looked like he had some coloring of his shiny form. I don't know what it was. Maybe I was just seeing things, but that's the way it looked. Like I felt like I was seeing his shiny form for some reason. I don't know. That's just the thing. Maybe when you guys see the episode, don't forget I leave links down below. So you guys can check them out. I don't know. I just thought I did see something shiny in there, but so back to the training. We're dealing with Gust, right? That's our training right now. And then Pikachu goes off and then like slams his tail on the ground to keep himself firm on the ground. And then Fletching's having a little trouble, and then Ash is like, "You can do it." And then basically Fletchling just starts like it makes starts moving its tail feathers around, and then using its wings to kind of go with how the gust is going, kind of to maintain airborne. Um, so he was moving his wings accordingly, and the tail feathers, putting them at certain angles to deal with this oncoming air current that was hitting it. So I was like, yeah. And they do that training for a little while, and everybody's like all excited because they're doing it. They're finally doing it. And then they go to lunch, and then so they're like, okay, so you finished Gust. We need to find a way to deal with the ice field, the sticky web, and psychic. And then I personally, like at that point, I'm like, it's literally impossible for you to even consider practicing psychic because there's nothing you guys have in your arsenal right now that could even help with that situation. That knows the move to help you, or some move similar. Like it's just not possible. Um, and then Ash goes off. Well, I already got an idea for the ice field. And then Bonnie's like, well, what is it? What is it? Like all excited. And Ash is like, oh, we gotta wait till tomorrow. And then she gets all mad and grumpy, like sucks her food in her mouth, just like all grumpy. And I want to say this right now, Bonnie is amazing. Like as you guys should know if you've seen my previous videos, of X and Y. I was generally concerned with Bonnie when I first heard that they were gonna do a brother sister combo again. I was concerned because the May Max one. I love May. You guys should know this because I did the whole um, thing. But anyways, Max was an. I never liked Max. I just didn't. So I was concerned with Bonnie. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna be another Max, and I was not gonna like. But she's not. She's like I will say this right now. She's a million times better than Max in every aspect of the sense. She literally acted like a little kid there. Like kids get mad when you don't tell them things. It's a thing. That's something you can see in real life. They generally get upset if you don't tell them something they want to know, and they act the exact same way she did. And I thought that was adorable. I really was. I did. That was adorable, and that's a fact. Um, but anyways, and then Clemon states that he has a way to train with sticky web, and that's like, yeah, Pikachu Fletchling. After we're done eating, we're gonna go training again. And then Pikachu and Fletchling like, yeah. And our cheeks are all full because they're eating right now. It was so cute, and adorable. Um, and they go out right, and then Clement has this weird old machine with a really long and weird name. I actually didn't even understand it all. So yeah, that was so stupid. But it's like this big old cannon looking thing with like a glass casing behind it. Has like the substance which is supposed to represent sticky web. Like it has the same texture, the same feel, the same smell, and the same essence as a real sticky web. Um, and then Ash was like, all right, and, all excited because it's science, Um, yay. So stupid. He got too excited. I will say that right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like science too, but like that was just crazy. But anyways, so he's like, all right, and then he starts firing off the cannon, and then it literally launches sticky webs. Like, well, I mean, stuff that looks like sticky web. And Pikachu and Fletchling have to dodge. Like Pikachu's like dodging, jumping backwards, doing somersaults and backflips like a boss, and Fletchling like maneuvering in midair, like doing twists and turns. And I'm like, this is awesome. I'm really enjoying this. And they're like dodging all over the place, and Pikachu and I was just like, yeah, you guys can do this. Keep on going. And then Clement's like, but this isn't all I can do. And he's like, we're gonna go to the maximum potential. And I'm like, oh, jeez. And then like this thing had like light bulbs in the front. Stop doing that. This thing has like light bulbs in the front. Sorry about that. And it's like they were blue. And then when he said he was gonna put him in max potential, they went red. And that's never a really good sign when it comes to machines. Like if you really think about it, any machine that starts glowing red, you already know it's either overheating or it's gonna explode, which is never a good thing. Um, so then Clemon goes to fire and it doesn't fire, and he literally gets all close and personal to the cannon's face or the head, and he's like, oh, what is going on? What is going on? And then the thing starts to bulge like it's gonna fire, and he's like, oh snap! And the thing like bursts back for some reason, starts firing into the air, and like fired like three of them. Yeah, and then they came crashing down on top of it, causing it to block the exit of the cannon, making it explode. Boom! And I'm like, no. And again, I will say this again. I mean, I laughed this time. I didn't. But I hope they don't overuse this gag. Because I like Clemens right now. I really do. And they have a history of overusing a gag to death. And I don't want that. This time, like I want them to take it easy. Give us a couple episodes in between or something. Because while it's funny to an extent, if it's overused, it's gonna get annoying and boring. I really don't want that because I want to like Clemens. I do, and I like him so far. So just want to put my 2 cents in there. But anyway, so they do that, and Ash decides that he's not gonna, stop training, and he goes and sends out Brokey with the Frobbles, and I'm like, oh snap, he's actually thinking outside the box with this one. And then he does the training with that, and another body moment where she starts cheering and saying like, "Yay!" Literally, she's like passing out before that what she's doing, and then they go to bed, and then the rematch the next day, and then it's like Pikachu versus Surskit because we're gonna get revenge on this thing. This thing's gonna go down, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Ash is just pulling, like literally, Ash is just freaking funny. Um, and that sequence, that beginning sequence will not get old. I will say this right, it will just not get old. Um, and then for other son of that, like Viola changed strategies. I mean, it's still the same like idea, but she changed it up, and that made me enjoy it. Cause she starts off with Sticky Web, which, as everybody should remember, like the previous battle, she used that when she was battling Fletchling. She changed it up, which is awesome because it's not like before where the gym leader who beat Ash would have a strategy and then literally use the strategy the same way the second time. No, she changed it up. And it actually worked because Ash did not train the strategies in a row. Like, he trained them specifically one at a time, meaning that he would already have a way to counter those strategies without necessarily countering them the same way as before. So it starts out with Stick Web, and Pikachu is just dodging like a boss, hits it up with an Iron Tail, and starts like, whoa! And then, gets the Ice Field ready, but not before Pikachu causes it to fire all over the freaking place. Um, and then, again, the strategy that he used was literally the same thing he used when he was training with Gus. Ice Field happened, Signal Beam coming in your way, Pikachu, your freaking tail on the ice, and use Thunderbolt. And Pikachu's like, boom, and the tail goes bam, and then and the thing just Surskit just freaking died. I mean, not really, but it got owned so bad. And then Pikachu comes back, all triumphant, and then like Viola's questioning, wait, you're switching Pikachu? He's like, Pikachu is another one that needs revenge. He sends out Fletchling against Vivian, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy. And then like he goes in, and Fletchling put, no, Steel Wing. I'm like, when the heck did this thing learn Steel Wing? I mean, you didn't show that in the training sequence. What is this? Then again, they didn't use move. Well, no, they used one move each, but he never used Steel Wing. Where the heck did Steel Wing come from? And it was weird, but it worked. Like, I'm not gonna say it didn't work because it did work. Um, and because it's awesome match and crazy stuff. Um, Unfortunately, Flexing goes down because, oh wait, Vivian has something you didn't know about. He knows freaking sleep powder. And I'm like, oh, well, geez, like I said, this is actually a good thing because that means there's something that she had up her sleeve that you couldn't practice for. Oh, and then, Fletchling goes down to a solar beam, which in hindsight, isn't exactly the worst thing in the world. But I hope that in the future, because Fletchling evolves into such an awesome Pokemon, that they're gonna give it its spotlight. So Fletchling goes down, and he sends out Pikachu, and then again the same strategy. The ice is still there, so when Vivillon's using Gust, the tail goes into the ice. Unfortunately, it's not strong enough to deal with the Gust, and Pikachu goes flying backwards. Um, and then she uses Gust again, but this time instead of just your regular tail, use Iron Tail on the ice. And then Pikachu does that, and he's like standing on his tail, kind of like old school versus Lieutenant Surge thing. Where Pikachu was just standing on his tail when he dodged the Thunderbolt. But and then like Viola's like, oh, now it's just gonna be easier to hit you, and then like she's like Solar Beam, and then Pikachu uses a Thunderbolt to counter and mid-air explosion, and then she's like, oh, don't worry about it, I got this, and then she uses Sleep Powder, and I'm like, oh dang, and then like Pikachu gets knocked out. He's gonna be knocked out with the Sleep Powder, and then Ash is like, or Serena's like, don't forget your training, and then he's like, yeah, oh wait, yeah. And then he goes in, Pikachu, use Electro Ball on yourself. And he literally showed some freaking Electro Ball in there. and smacks him in the face, causing him to wake up. And Vivian's like about to fire a solar beam, and he's like, "Oh my gosh!" He stayed awake, and then he's like, "Electro ball!" And then like the electro ball clashed with the solar beam, causing and then hitting Vivian, causing it to crash into the ice that Surskit accidentally created. And then like he couldn't fly, like he was like flapping his wing, and then the other one was like, I can't move it. Oh, and then he's like, all right, now Pikachu, use Thunderbolt, and just freaking wrecked the Vivian, and it went down. And then Ash wins the badge. I gotta say though, the badge case looks freaking amazing in this gen. Like that thing looks sweet. And he's like, yeah, I got this. Look at it. It's so nice. I got my first badge. Oh, and then they they go out and then they say their goodbyes and then they walk away, right? And then the narrator comes out talking, and then we do another cliffhanger. And I said, like I said in the beginning of this episode, the review, I like this cliffhanger stuff because Ash, the cliffhanger is this: Ash asks Serena what she plans to do now, and she's like, like she's like it stops there, or she doesn't like she hasn't answered. She doesn't know what she's gonna answer, or we don't know what she's gonna answer. Um, so that was cool. Like I really like this episode was amazing. One thing that I will continue to praise is that beginning. Oh, excuse me. The sequence before the battle and just the battle animation now is just amazing. It is the best we have ever gotten. I can't wait for future episodes. This show is really exciting. Like I'm really hyped up. I really am. Um, but anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave your comments down below with what you thought of the episode and all that cool stuff. Don't I hope that you guys check out my walkthrough on the playlist down below, and don't forget to click the links for the episodes if you haven't watched them yet. They're down there. I have 2 links for you guys as always. But anyways, guys, this has been SoresanCrockxen with an X and Y review. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in a later video.